How's it all going, folks? It's June 1st today, and first bit of sunshine we've had. It's been a really wet spring, beginning of summer, and even now it's overcast and the whole of next week's going to be rain. So not the best, but the grass is digging it. I think a little bit of sun would actually help because of the amount of rain we've had, but we've got a nice thick carpet down there. What's funny is that the clover, we mix clover in with this to kind of attract bees, and I heard it actually adds nitrogen into the soil more than grass. Clover starts growing a lot faster and quicker than grass does, so there's a big thick carpet down there. Maybe I don't know if you can overseed, but anyway, so I wanted what we'd been heating the trailer. I don't like calling it a trailer, it feels trashy. It's more than that, it's more classy than a trailer, I feel. Our cabin is with a kerosene heater at the moment, and kerosene is very expensive. It eats through it very fast, and it kind of has a bit of an odor to it, so you have to leave ventilation. So not a long-term solution. It'll be good for, say, my shop if I want to heat it up quickly, or even another cabin that I make if I don't have a fire. So I've been keeping my eye out, and I'm a bit of an addict to Facebook Marketplace. You can end up buying things you don't even need on there. You think, oh, might need that. Anyway, I've been looking for a stove, and I found this little guy. So this came out of a yacht. The couple wanted a bigger unit in here, and it's about 13 or 14 inches tall. I don't know if you can get perspective, I guess, with my hand here, but you know, it's tiny. It comes up to just under my knees. The nice thing about this, it looks like a homemade one out of heavy gauge steel, is that there's no issue with sparks. I was a little worried about sparks flying out because we have vinyl plank floor and it's a small area and everything's very flammable. So this has a damper on the front, and the wood loads in at the top. Comes free with some tea lights and a can of pop. So winter's a way off, obviously. But even, man, last week we were here and I had the fire go, the kerosene stove going. So this will be a while yet. I have to find some piping to pipe it out of the cabin. But I'm gonna throw some wood in here in a minute and just fire it up and make sure that smoke doesn't come out of the top here. Make sure it draws nicely out of there, because that'll be a bit of a bummer if it does come out of here. But we will see. But I'm pretty stoked with this find. It's hard to find. I think I paid $295 for it. If you buy the kind of pro ones for boats, they're, I think, in their $1,000, over $1,000. I actually found this amazing website of a guy in Nanaimo who builds beautiful little tiny home stoves, way more attractive than the commercial ones. And he's got 3 different sizes, and they're, I think, varying from $600 to $800. So if I didn't find this, I would have probably gone down that road. They're finished a lot nicer than this, and they're all front loaders. But if you're looking for a tiny fire, I would check them out for sure. So anyway, just got here. I'm going to be planking up some more wood today, and or tomorrow maybe, I don't know. Just spend the day here, so it's a nice, I'm not coming for the weekend, so for me to get away sometime during the week is, I think, part of my regiment to keep good mental health. So anyway, we'll fire this up, and maybe I'll show you what it's going. So I'm a bit of a cheater when it comes to fires. I just use one of these. Fires right up. I know, I should be ashamed. All right, fire in the hole. So this is going to be inside. There's a lot of smoke coming out. So I might have to put this on really quick. And immediately it's going up the top, which is good news. It's not coming out of here. I wonder if I take this off. Yeah, so that's going to be a problem. I might need to run a fan or something. Or just put a vent in the ceiling, maybe just to catch that smoke. As you can see, that's going to be my problem. It's coming pouring out the top. I wonder if that's why they sold it to me. It probably wouldn't be a big deal for me to cut a door into here. I could weld a hinge on there, cut a door. Even a hinge on, yeah, see, as soon as I open that, it puffs out. That'll fill the cabin with a bunch of smoke. So anyway, bit of thought. I'm not under the pressure now, got the whole summer to think about it, but I might end up putting a door in the front. All right, what I'd heard really good things about Woodland Mills customer service, and I had this issue you might have seen last time with the water not coming on when I pulled the trigger. So it should have activated, allowing the water to come out, and I had to wedge a piece of wood in there. So I emailed them a video and they were fast to respond. First time their answers didn't apply, and I told them a little more of my problem, and then they sent me another kind of step-by-step of what to do, which was simply adjusting these two nuts here, these two, and you can tell there's a little bit of play in there, and I just basically shoved this whole mechanism over towards the gas, and now if I hit the gas, we got water coming out. So that's problem solved. Thanks, Woodland Mills. So I got a few hours of light left, so I thought what I would do is start working on this floor for my shop, small shop. So anyway, I'm sure I'm going to learn so many things from milling the hard way. I'll watch my fill of YouTubes. Eventually you just got to throw yourself in and figure it out yourself. So this was the first piece I cut, and it had some pretty wavy, obviously, bits of bark on either side. So I actually purchased this big 10.5-inch gill saw. Back when I was doing the Alaskan sawmilling, thinking, okay, I'll use this to chomp my way through instead of chainsawing everything. And I was afraid that I might burn the motor out on a standard 6.5-inch. So this is a big monster one, but I need the generator to run it, which as you can hear running in the background. So anyway, I've trimmed the two rough edges off, and now I have a 10-inch piece with nice straight sides. As you work your way through the log, now I'm cutting, you can see here, totally straight sides. So this was the starter one, just got to trim it a bit, and then I think as I move on through the log, and then when I get to the bottom of the log, I'll probably have some more that I have to trim off. But for the floorboards, I don't really care if they're all different sizes. I got like a 12-inch or 13-inch piece here. It'll go big, 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 and then small, back down to small. I mean, I've cut the tree in a cube, so they should be fairly standard. I see I got to trim the side just at the end there, off this one. My finger about there. And then I'm going to start putting this in. Now it's green. It's going to shrink, clearly. I'm prepared for that. If I have holes in the floor of my workshop, it's fine. Mostly this is going to be tool storage. I'm not like a furniture maker. I don't, it's going to be tinkering around, fixing stuff, storing my tools in a little bit safer than a canvas tent there. I'm going to feel a little bit safer when I leave my accumulating pile of not cheap tools and chainsaws, etc. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get these three on today, I think, and then tomorrow I'm going to start sawmilling up there and I'm kind of get into the groove. I think for now, because I don't have our little tractor over here, I'm going to be putting them in the back of the truck and just driving them down, because one of these planks is not light, especially when it's green. So yeah, back to it. One thing, call me old-fashioned, but the old hammer and the old nail, you cannot beat the feeling of driving in a 3.5-inch nail into wood versus using an impact gun with headphones and all the noise and racket. There's something beautiful about, I find the same feeling when I'm chopping wood with an axe or using a chainsaw. Chainsaw's noisy, but you know, you turn it off and you're just in this still forest, and being up here in the woods, just hearing a hammer clacking on a nail seems somewhat satisfying, close to nature in a funny kind of way. So yeah, I've chosen the nails. I have used the power nailer on this baby for certain things, but putting these boards down calls for the old-fashioned way. Nice green wood too, it goes easy. The wood's so green, it's just easy to drive. Little tiny warp. So there's an overhang here. I'm just going to trim these all off at the end. But this is our starter. It's tight for now, but we'll see when it shrinks. I'm going to get nice drafty back gaps. The only downside of using nails is that if I want to back any of these off, it's going to be a lot harder with a nail. With a screw, you can drive it up. So that's the one beauty about using screws over nails. But you know, cross that bridge if we come to it. Isn't it nice hearing the birds? I was talking to my sister, and she was saying how when you get older, there's just so many things. It's trippy getting older. You'll get it when you get there if you're not there already. I consider myself getting older, 49. And my sister was saying, I seem to listen and see things that I never saw in my younger years, like birds singing in the trees or a plant growing. And You know, if only we had the wisdom of an older person when we were younger, we'd have enjoyed life a lot more. We're so hard foot on the gas, but when you get older, you seem to, like I'm noticing the birds now. I don't think I would have noticed that 10 years ago. Little things, because you realize that life is fleeting and this isn't going to be around forever, or we're not going to be around forever. Yeah, life is a trip. That's putting it mildly. It's a trip. Pretty good gapping. With this little tool I'm going to go get. And I had all these tools sitting in my shop that I never use. This one's called a bow wrench. I'm getting bows out. Pretty good little tool, got it from Lee Valley. Put one end in the joist and then you just lever it and pushes the bow out. And it's a one-man tool, which is great. See, if I was a good YouTuber, I would have done a whole YouTube on that thing, but apparently I suck at it. now you made me feel bad. All right, so brand is bow wrench. I think there's a couple different brands, but it's very, very simple. This end goes in the joist, so it clicks in. And then this sits against your piece of wood and pivots. And you basically find, if you're by yourself, you find the spot where you can get it maximum tension and then leave it there, and it pushes the bowed piece of wood against the other piece. So if you're doing like long decking boards where there's always a bow in it, this thing is awesome. These nuts have come a bit loose, but this has been sitting in my workshop for eons. Now I used it. Okay, so 3 boards are down. That's all I can do today, and I'll do something else in that little job right now, and then we'll be on the mill cutting more wood. Well, it's morning time. Well, it's well past morning, 10:42. I've already cut the rest of that log. I don't think I'll have enough to finish this. Yeah, learning some things. You know, I'm not getting my depths exactly the same from the first batch to the second batch. I got to figure out the measuring thing. I noticed there's a few little discrepancies. I'm also finding here, you'll see I'm snapping lines. The woods are not going together perfect. So, I mean, I know it's going to shrink and gap, but I want it to gap as least as possible at this point. So that the gaps, when they do shrink, aren't massive. So I realized that, you know, if this was done properly with permits or whatever, I would have had a beam going through the middle here, right? This is too big a span. It's bouncing a little bit, especially with the weight of this wood. So I've got a concrete block. I'm just going to dig down and just brace up that center joist there, just to give, maybe take a bit of the spring out in the middle. But yeah, sun's coming out a little bit. It's calling for a bit of rain later, but we'll do what we can. would you look at that? The one thing they warn me about on all the YouTubes is hitting the bunkers, hitting those protected things. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I just did it. You heard it. Painful, expensive. I gotta put a new blade on it, so that'll be pause the show for a minute here. Geez. All right, so new blade's on. Not too hard to do it. Silly mistake, don't feel good about it. But hey, that's how we learn, right? As if I thought I would get away with not having my turn. Anyway, new blade on. I'm gonna finish this plank and keep planking up this log, and then we can finish the floor on the workshop. Just leave it running. check how much wood I actually need, and then back the truck up here and load on what I got, and I don't want to overcut. All right, so the floor's down. I think all of these boards are about 14 inches across, and yeah, it feels pretty good when you fell a tree, drag it all the way up from down there all the way up to there, roll it onto a mill, cut the wood, drag the wood down, and then build something out of it that you can use. It's just so cool. So I've stockpiled a bunch of wood over the last year that was just on sale and cheap because we had those crazy hikes in wood cost, and it's been sitting in my shed, the tarp shed over there. So anyway, I'm going to use up these pre-bought 2x6s. I think I'm going to go 24 inch on center because it's 2x6 walls, and I want to conserve as much lumber as I can. Yeah, so I'm going to start building the walls and see how far we get today. Well, my battery died, but made progress. I framed up all the walls, found a window down at my buddy Matt's place that I'm going to put in on the back. Pretty small window on the front, and we're going to have access here so I can walk kind of through the 2 units if it's pouring rain. Whew, I'm pooped. I got to like hustle now and get everything packed up. But yeah, it's crazy. You know, that seems like a lot's done, but there's still so much to do. Got to sheathe it, got to paper it, and you got to side it and roof it, and holy smokes, man, just because it's a 10 by 10, the size doesn't matter. It seems to be just the same steps, you know. So yeah, good day's work.